Too much pressure, too much pleasure, but not much to rely on. Your love ain't free. When your heart is racing at the speed of light, and you feel like you got nowhere else to go. No, I'll hold you till the sun comes in the morning light. Yeah, I'll keep you safe, I'll never let you go. When your heart is racing at the speed of light. When your heart is racing at the speed of light. Yeah, I'll keep you safe. Yeah, I'll keep you safe, I'll never let you go. When your heart is racing at the speed of light.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to CFC. We're getting down to the very business end of the tournament now. It's 9-all's time, with Wins taking on last year's champions in BUFA. It's Benji Reese and Amelia Durban, and I think we have just about recovered from the semi-final.
I think so. On the mic for that one, I think I had a couple of heart palpitations. Not sure if that was the sugary drinks from last night or the stress on the field, but pretty sure it was the stress on the field. ULTI.TV did everything they possibly could to lose the game, but somehow still took a win.
I see Noah's got a smirk because he might have seen the commentator graphic. Thank you very much. You're welcome. We are having a great time here at CFC. I cannot speak highly enough of this wonderful tournament in this paradise island of Lanzarote. I mean, it's been an absolute dream of a weekend.
It's been an absolute pleasure, yeah. The sun has been amazing. The vibes have been great. The tournament is so well organised. Everyone here just in such good spirits, having the best time. And the Frisbee's also been amazing too. We've been here all weekend, streaming, showing you some of the best fun Ultimate Frisbee in the kind of late stages of the year.
Yeah, for many teams, this is like it's the final bow on 2024. And what a way to go out.
Yeah, I feel like as a Brit myself, this tournament isn't necessarily widely known in the UK scene, but I'm going to be shouting from the rooftops about it next year.
Please don't, because then it makes it harder for us to get a spot.
Hey, ULTI.TV, best in the world. They'll be back every year.
I mean, if we win, I think we kind of have to be, right? So, you know, if we need any added incentive for the final, then there you go.
Double peak, always the big goal, obviously. But you got to get there first.
You do indeed. Here we've got the battle for 9th place. BUFA in the yellow taking on Wins in the red.
It's a shock to see BUFA down here. We had a Swiss draw set up for CFC this year for the first time. Normally just kind of pool play. And BUFA, whoo! Look at that. Fantastic layout score there.
I mean, if you can isolate Ines Bringel in space, I would usually do that, to be fair.
Can't speak highly enough of Ines Bringel, a really, really talented kind of legacy player. Been around for such a long time and always impressed. Part of the Eurostars tour all those years ago, and absolute standout on that team.
And this is a lovely throw, just leading it into space. Defender tried to poach off and could not get there. Before we switch to the prescribed puller rule, Portugal mixed at EBUC in 2019. They'd usually have Ines Bringel pull because she's more than capable of pounding at the length of the field. And most teams generally let their guys handle, and it meant that rather have someone pull and then run all the way down the other end of the field to get into space in the handler spot. She'd usually then take a cutter, so you're getting one of your other defenders with a really full head of speed going to get down the mark quicker, whereas Bringel can pick up a handler, and it was really good to see a team kind of playing smart to take advantage of her gifts. Oh, a sick layout bit underneath.
So clean, smacks the disc away with absolute assertion. BUFA now in the 9-holes, opportunity to break really early.
Emily Kai just resetting into the backfield. Now going to sling it into the end zone. That's going to be a bookends for Alex Nelson. And BUFA taking a 2-0 lead. They have started like they mean business here, Derbs.
Absolutely. No matter what the result of your kind of final placement, teams out here working their absolute socks off. BUFA probably are disappointed with being down in this bracket, especially after winning it last year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them kind of really put a mark on this game, to not go down without a fight and maybe show that perhaps they probably should have been in that top of bracket.
Yeah, certainly. I think looking at things going into the final rounds of Swiss Draw, like if BUFA were going to make it, they were going to be, you know, a 7 or even an 8 seed. And I think we were very thankful that BUFA didn't just sneak in there, because we were well aware that had they made it, we would have been in for a real slogfest.
Absolutely, but the Swiss Draw never lies. The almighty algorithm puts you where you're meant to be, and BUFA not for them this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see them back.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just outstanding beach pedigree. Great pull from Vargas. Who's surprised? Not me. Just dishing it off, trying to set up the deep shot. They're going to have to really get on the bike. Sick layout to snag it. Can they play it around the end zone? Not going to lead him in yet. Want to set up the isolation again. Still count got to be rising. And squeezing it in there to Helena Andres to put wins on the board.
A much needed score for wins to stay in this game early, going down 3-0. Probably pretty punishing. We had wins on the stream, probably I think it was the first game, all those many days ago on Friday. And I think they've been building throughout this tournament. And they also had a slow start then. So wouldn't be surprised to see them kind of build as this game goes on. BUFA though, probably able to respond well experienced and kind of in these pressure moments.
Yeah, these are both sides who are more than capable of dealing with the sands. Wins from scattered over Spain, and BUFA, of course, from the Algarve in Portugal. I mean, you see there, what a great wide shot of just spectacular scenery here. The jet blue ocean, those dark volcanic sands. I mean, it's something special. Klebitska goes down the line as they reset around. Tried to snatch it on the far side, and it was just out of reach.
A little bit too much heat on that throw. Now Wind have an opportunity to get a break back.
Huge huck pinged down the center of the field. Klebitska was ready and waiting to pick it off. The little dish. Klebitska once more, sitting it over the top, and the little back pedal and step to adjust and watch it all the way into the bucket. BUFA on top by 2 again.
Yeah, good adjustment from the BUFA receiver there to kind of recognise where the defender was and try and take a kind of aggressive line. Took it, received it, and that is a break 3-1 for the team in yellow. You mentioned that this Algarve side were at the World Beach Ultimate Championships. They're yellow jerseys that you see them here, the star ones. You see Bringel wearing one. A high trade item over in Portimao.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think regardless of what you think stylistically, you know, if you're the home team at a tournament, I feel like your jerseys always carry a little bit of extra weight. And plus, they were such superb hosts as well. They're a true beach team that they garnered so much respect from a lot of teams. And it was a real surprise not to see them go deeper in the tournament. They got upset in the bracket by AKS Zwe from Poland, who they beat rather convincingly at the in the showcase opener. But as they do say, it's tough to beat the same team twice. And boy, don't ULTI.TV know that at the moment. I will finish that thought later. High release, a little bit too high.
I like liked the option, but just the wrong execution on it. Kind of took it a little bit too far rather than just a little poppy one. Brinjel in that handler space.
Looking for Filipe Vargas at first, and instead takes Pedro. Tries to put the shape on that throw, and I think as soon as it left his hand, he kind of looked at it betrayingly like, really? That's what you came up with?
Yeah, unfortunate there. The little kind of like Oyo. A very powerful throw if you can get it right, but not to be for BUFA. Winds have got a long way to go to their end zone though. Worth saying that the weather here has really come good. We had a couple of days yesterday, specifically it was quite windy come the end of the day. Today is flat, calm, perfect Frisbee playing weather.
Yeah, there are some clouds coming overhead, and hopefully they don't burst, because if they do, well, then the storm drain might burst, and we can't really afford to have that again.
No poo volcanoes.
And that's the PC version.
Castillo there just kind of running through the play, able to get a block. Didn't necessarily get a touch on the disc, but just applied enough pressure on the back shoulder to make sure that it stayed kind of out of the hands of her receiver.
Brinjel picks up and swings wide to Castillo. He loves the throw and go motion. And now Castillo again, bouncing it around. Using the full lateral width, and then Brinjel slashes across to put BUFA further in front 4-1, starting this game on fire.
Brinjel just moving so well on the sand, makes it look effortless. Some people when they run on sand sort of look like they're getting really dragged down by the weight, but Brinjel just kind of skips over the top like a little mud skipper.
To me, it's almost like a hovercraft, almost. You just glide across it. The best advice I ever got for running on sand, and this will sound weird, don't touch the sand. Thanks, Mental Ben. But there's a thought to it, like players who, you have those big plants and quite heavy-footed. You do really sink into the sand. You look like a Scooby-Doo character where your legs go in a circle and you don't actually go anywhere. As opposed to someone like Brinjel, light on the feet. So you're not putting too much weight down necessarily, and you are trying to really skip across. You've got really long strides as well. That really helps because you've got fewer points of contact with the sand.
Pull inbounds, really good pull from BUFA.
Opportunity maybe to try and put on some short field pressure. Looks like they want to get it off this sideline. They do with the big swing across. Now, roughly at about midfield. Oh, that is a visionary throw. I love that. Steps out and pings the backhand across with that beautiful outside-in shape. What a throw to put Wings back on the board.
That was absolutely glorious. To be honest, I thought it was for the 7 cut in the end zone, but no, it was for another receiver on that far sideline. Kind of a bit of a trust ball, but definitely like a planned trust ball.
That's what you call throwing someone open, I think.
Yeah, true.
Because there was separation, but put it in a spot where no one else was going to get it. You see there Fuerteventura in the distance. Lanzarote, the northernmost of the main Canary Islands. And of course you've got Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria, and Tenerife. Martin runs the 1-2 with Brinjel. Metronomic in throwing as always. Malinowski to Vargas. Bouncing it around nicely at the back. Finding the underneath. Oh my word, how did Malinowski fit it in there? And then Ricardo Marquez finds Will Martin for the BUFA score. I mean, Malinowski really had to put a lot of mustard on that one. So much mojo sauce, but they love that here in the Canaries.
What sauce?
The mojo sauce.
Ooh, what's that?
It's like the Canarian sauce.
Ooh, what does it taste like? Have you had it?
Yes.
Talk to me.
I mean, it's been over a decade, but from what I remember, good. It tasted good.
Okay. Wins then. Couple of points down, 5-2, potentially a little bit of a slow start. It is the Ninals, so kind of the people's bracket, the champion bracket for those at home.
The bracket where you can party hard.
The bracket where you can party hard. The bracket where nothing really matters anymore except kind of whether you care about where you finish.
Some teams we've seen this week, I think, have more of an impact on that than others. Great pull again. Doesn't come in bounds till the very end. Trying to break around. Beautiful break. Just sits up there. Lovely touch throw on the beach. And again, using the break side, getting that continuation going. Can BUFA get a lid on it? Not at the moment. Sliding through, and it slides through our grip. BUFA taking a little bit of time there to flip the switch from D to O. Now they've got the one-on-one downfield. They're calling Nelson's number again. And look at him extend that stride pattern into the end zone for the score, 6-2.
That is a really, really nice throw. When it came out the hand, I thought maybe it was a little bit too fast, a little bit too flat, but just the right amount of whip on it, the right amount of shape, and just led the receiver so nicely into the end zone. Didn't even really need to break out of stride.
And that's a question of knowing your receiver as well, knowing that they do really eat up the sand in front of them. There's a discussion, I think, about what the score is.
7-2 from looking over there at that scoreboard, which means I believe it's going to be a half-time with BUFA coming out on defense.
That seems to be what they're happy about. The fact that they were at that end zone rather than the other end zone leads me to believe that it should be an even score rather than an odd score. But hey, it's not about me. There we are. Everyone agrees that Benji Reese is right as always.
Benji Reese is always right. The man, the myth, the legend himself.
It's true. It's been a real eye-opener this week for people seeing me actually play some Frisbee.
Okay. Are you proud of your performance?
I've not turned over.
Fantastic.
I threw an upwind push pass.
You did?
It was good.
And it looked cool.
The most important thing was that I faked a huck and people thought that it might have gone. Just double-checking.
6-2 confirmed then for the players on the field and with us. That's why kind of having the stream sometimes is a great little advantage because you've got 2 points of reference for what the score is.
Unfortunately, when it's ULTI.TV streaming it, you don't necessarily have any points of reference, but...
True.
But thankfully Noah's on it this week, and we trust Noah implicitly. To be fair to Noah, with the exception of when everything melted, he's been bang on.
Noah has been given a very bad run of luck recently when it comes to streaming.
You had some problems at the granddaddy of them all, literally, WGGMBUCC.
Wogamabook, yeah. We were halfway through a game and the call came, the computer has exploded, the mothership, which is our main computer that kind of runs everything, has died. And without the mothership, we have nothing.
Yes.
And we were off for 2 games.
Whoa. We didn't go undefeated. I've not had that for a while. But we won in the end, so...
Still yet to be undefeated.
Squeezing it down this sideline. Fakes the backhand now, airs it out towards the far side. Marquez put pressure on the D. I wonder if there's going to be a discussion about the contact here.
I did see a little shake of the head, but I'm not sure if that's just an exception that potentially the disc wasn't necessarily going to be caught. But I think the foul call will be maintained and continued, so the conversation will go on. Yeah,
it's certainly worth having the discussion. I always think it is worth having the discussion, and if need be, you can decide that, you know what, actually, fair enough. I'm not going to keep it, but you were well within your rights to have the discussion.
Yeah, for sure. As the conversation goes on, we'll have a little weather update from me. I'm sat outside the booth. I was just doing some sunbathing. The sun has now gone behind a fairly ominous black cloud.
I know, it's lovely. on Friday, I was nowhere near equipped enough for the Sun, so I'm very glad that it has since gone in. It is an accepted foul, so they check it in and jog it to the front of the end zone. Tossing it, running through, past Vargas, and then the quick release out of the hands to bring Wins within 3, 6-3 score.
So Phantom half-time definitely didn't come to be. BUFA going to need to put one in to take half and then change end zone and go back down there on defense. 6-3, a fairly confident lead by BUFA. Wins, I'm not necessarily too sure how much they've got left in the tank to be able to push ahead. Yeah,
against the side the quality of BUFA, you kind of can't really afford to dig yourself into those sorts of holes. Which, if we go back to the semi-final that was played not too long ago, both sides actually dug themselves holes. Jogo Benito in the first half were down a few, and then roared back to give themselves a big lead before ULTI.TV eventually took it in the end. And when you're down a few points on the beach in these shorter games where you have to be close by the time the cap comes on, then it is always tough once you dig yourself that sort of pit.
Absolutely. Hoping to see a little bit more of a cleaner final, perhaps, which is going to be on stream later today, 3 p.m. local time, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we've got the bronze medal match next at 2 o'clock, and then, as you so astutely point out, ULTI.TV versus El Contrato in the final, 3 o'clock island time. Malinowski shoots down the middle, and that's gobbled up by the Wins defense. Vanderholm, the funky ball demon, tries to get the force on. Now airing it out towards the end zone. The shape might take it away, but it held its line long enough. That is a Wins break.
It's good for Wins. They kind of need that. We were just talking about how they didn't necessarily have anything left in the tank. Maybe they do, and we're just reading it wrong. I know they had a good comeback at one of their games earlier in the tournament, so they definitely got it in them. BUFA maybe just took the foot off the gas a little bit. Maybe thought the game was over and wasn't necessarily being pushed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them refocus, recenter, reset, and start pushing for something with a little bit more passion and energy in the legs. I didn't see many of these BUFA players at the party, so not sure if they frequented it.
You know, that's... I definitely saw Maria there.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that they weren't there, just could well be that I didn't see them.
We were quite distracted playing a variety of party games set by one and only Steph Rapazzo.
He was in his element there, like the ringmaster at his own drunken, demented circus.
It's true.
It's true. Really what ULTI.TV is all about, isn't it?
It's Steph's world, and we're living in it.
It's all about Steph, as Steph will no doubt remind everyone before, during, and after games. Nelson with a bit of shape on that one, over the top to Martin. Martin pings it. And pings it just shy of the end zone to Marquez. Nelson looked around like, I was open, why didn't we just do that? And that is why, and in the end, the follow-up from Filipe Vargas draws the pressure in, and that opens up the blades to Castillo at the back of the end zone to put BUFA in at half with a 7-4 advantage.
And that is half, and even though it is half, BUFA will be starting where they would have started regardless, which is down there on D. So it's come quite good. Wins a fair deficit. They're kind of pretty low down in the scoring in comparison. They would need to get 4 breaks in a row to take it ahead.
It's not insurmountable,
it's
tough. It's very tough.
It's tough, and they would need to happen very quickly. Which would either require some really good defensive pressure from Wins or some kind of hopeful early turnovers from BUFA that Wins maybe don't necessarily have to have a part in. Sometimes that can happen on beach. It's very easy to see a team kind of drop their heads and lose focus. But this Wins side, this BUFA side, they're experienced beach players. Probably more experienced than the teams that are in the final on beach.
Well,
one perhaps.
One of them, yes. I think El Contrato might disagree somewhat there, but these are both teams that are more than capable on the sands. There's a deep shot off the first pass, and what a deep shot it is as well. That is slap bang on the money. Klemitska on the force looks around like, what happened there? Because they could not have hoped for that offensive point to go any better. Just they send the deep cut straight down the middle. There's a missed coverage in the centre, and the throw was so perfectly weighted.
Yeah, that was like good. Really good. I thought when it came out
That wasn't just good, that was good.
Good. When it came out, I thought the player kind of like leaned back on the flick, and I thought potentially it was going to go too high and come out the sideline towards Benji and I, but I was wrong. I was wrong.
No, what? I think we've lost field audio. BUFA ready to receive the ball there. If you want to know what the B stands for in BUFA, it's beach, which I don't think is a surprise to anyone, but you can insert your own B word as you wish.
Brilliant. Bright.
Maybe, if Will hucks it, it's B for Becky Malinowski. Well, it is her name that gets called, but on the under, and Castillo shoots it towards the back of the end zone and through the back of the end zone as well. Castillo's so good at that, getting it underneath, turning and firing without a thought. And when she gets it right, it's no and unstoppable, but that time she's probably a little bit too close in to pull it with that much power.
Yeah, Castillo also has frequented an ULTI.TV team, the ULTI.TV super team at Windmill this year, taking a victorious win over the French mixed side in that final.
Yeah, she was standout for the Tokai super team, that is for sure. And I think that was one of the aims of the super team project, as Steph will tell you, was, you know, shining the spotlight on some players from countries that you might not necessarily know as well, and giving them a chance in the limelight. And people who were not aware of Maria Castillo, my God, they're aware of Maria Castillo now. She's electric. Love her game. Here's the deep shot now. Oh, what a grab!
What a grab!
That's utter filth. I love it. Hamilton dishes off. Call his number. Let him do it again.
Let him cook.
Just outside the end zone. Is he going to be able to tow it inbounds? No, because they're not going to go to him yet. Squeezing, and the bid is just shy. And Hamilton's hard work goes in vain. But my God, it looked cool. That blew our collective little minds.
It was almost like a falling layout, like took off really early and then almost adjusted in the air to reach ahead and get the grab. Cool, very cool. Put that on a highlight reel, please.
Trust me, I'm pretty sure Noah's put many X's on it.
He's just got a hand block in front of the end zone.
Not a bad place for a hand block, and not a bad place to punch it in on the very next pass with a tiny little push. Almost the Swedish for the score. Hey, wins are certainly not done here. They're back within one. It's 7-6.
Wins hoping to win. Whale. Here all weekend.
Just the simplest of pops for the score. Hey, we got a game on our hands, Durbs. We got a game on our hands.
Absolutely. I was thinking, hey, this is going to be over. The sun's gone. It's going to start raining. Things are getting a bit dreary up in here. But, oh, no.
More fool you.
BUFA hoping to respond. Perhaps this has been the kind of summary of their tournament, just not able to push when it really matters. Like we said, BUFA won this tournament last year. I'm not sure how much turnover they've had on their roster.
What I was hearing is that it's generally pretty similar, which is why it was so surprising that they just they didn't quite get it together in those first half of the tournament. And they were not far outside of the bracket, but the numbers don't care how close you were if you're not in. Again, spreading it on the line deep for Nelson. Fakes the scuba and instead just tosses the backhand. And I think as soon as he released it, he knew it was good.
It's a good response from BUFA after a couple breaks. They're now ahead 8-6, and I think that's where they'd much rather be. That's a fairly comfortable lead, but still within touching distance. And now they know that wins can and have kind of refocused and are now pushing a little bit harder. I would expect to see a bit of a defensive adjustment from BUFA, just to maybe just keep this win side thinking, not let them get complacent. BUFA team in the yellow kit looking absolutely vibrant out here.
Noah's found something floating in the ocean that he's interested in.
Oh, Noah, give us a zoom, please.
I think it's just a boy.
Perhaps a seal.
It looks like a big old barrel, is what it looks like. Someone's transplanted a bale of hay into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Anyway, there's Frisbee now, so we'll have to focus on something else instead, I guess.
Well, turnover from Waves. BUFA now.
Waves?
Waves. Sorry, I was too busy. My head was in the sea then. Winds.
Brinjel, with no fear, hucks too far for Nelson.
Too far indeed.
Just a bit, maybe not too far, but just not the loft needed.
Yeah, perfectly. I think shooters have got to shoot, but maybe just needed to like release it just a couple of seconds later, just to give the receiver some time to get down there or throw it slightly higher so it sits in. We've had some really, really good examples of how to throw on sand in our previous game, which was Jogo Benito versus ULTI.TV. As much as there were a few turnovers which were less than favourable for both teams, there was also some absolutely perfect shots from both sides, just to show how you can really play beach well, specifically with the way that you throw the disc.
And there are a lot of shots that were maybe not open, but was a question of we back our downfield threats, and generally they came up. There's a call on the far sideline.
Fouls being called on that layout, just making a conversation about whether the control of the disc on the ground was impacted by the player coming through, Brinjel coming through on the back. Foul is contested on the field, which means that the disc will be sent back.
It does indeed.
Whilst we let this passage of play go, talking about being distracted, were you up to date with the Seaweed Mountain at Great Grandmasters Beach Worlds?
The what?
The Seaweed Mountain.
No, I was not. You have to inform me later. That one plucked, rises and ascends, and Hamilton gets up for the score.
Yeah, shout out to Brinjel there, keeping up, getting high, but sometimes someone's just taller than you.
Yeah, you can't teach tall, unfortunately.
No.
Not that I'd want to learn anyway, but
5'2" forever.
What was this about Seaweed Mountain?
So, during the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships in Portimao, maybe a month ago, there was a flurry of seaweed in this coming onto the sand, and it was as taller than me, piles of seaweed coming in. Then they collected it and created a seaweed mountain, and it was the size of a block of flats.
Really?
If you go back and watch the Great Grandmasters Beach Worlds, our drone camera, Billy, got some fantastic shots of said seaweed mountain, and I was fascinated.
Klebitska, big pump fake, but I think sensibly chooses to holster on this occasion. Just sprinting it around the back at the moment. Vanderholm takes off, but it is perfectly measured and weighted for the score.
That's a really nice throw. Just like slicing it across the whole pitch. Receiver was on this sideline near Benji and I, scored towards that far sideline, just kind of throwing into space, almost unguardable. The defender just didn't really have any attempt of a bid on it.
Heck of a throw there from, I think, Edward Grappin, the Frenchman.
A frequenter of the recent Diskin camp, I believe. A lovely kind of youth initiative run in the summer, sending players from all across of Europe to a week-long camp to kind of learn and grow together. But this year, apparently no age restriction.
I think it's the baby of Guillaume Mobi Espitia. Andres looking for an aggressive downfield option, but there's not a lot of separation, so we'll have to shoot it instead. The bid could come here. Oh, it did come, and it just kept tailing away.
That's unfortunate there. It really kind of pushed away from him as far as possible. I really thought they were going to get there. Dishes the disc backwards. BUFA with an opportunity to break.
So after Winds closed things at the start of this half, BUFA just trying to keep their distance in front. Castillo wants to open things up with her throws. Oh, that's an outrageous toe-in.
I think from my perspective that was in. I'm not sure if it was a travel call, but the feet were definitely down from different sports skills coming into play here. Wins then 10-7 down in this Ninals final. BUFA going to be wanting to kind of keep pushing ahead. Game 2-13. BUFA have got a lot of work to do to keep pushing to take the win, but wins potentially. Pull going up. Wins with the disc. Wins go into the centre of the field. Alberto looking for an option. Takes a high backhand around and receives it.
That's a really nice swinging option when you're on the beach. Wins now shooting for the end zone and shooting for the score as well. Really high quality game in the Ninals here.
Yeah, so nice. We're starting to see both teams find their stride a little bit. Stretching the pitch long. Not this kind of small ticky-tacky offense that we've been seeing so much on the beach scene and on the grass scene. I had Rafi Hayes say at the end of the USA U National Championships in the Open Division that small ball is dead.
I wonder how his D-line felt about that.
Well, they had a fantastic performance against Pony in that game.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
Not too shabby.
First championship there for Portland Rhino Slam, exclamation mark. Very important you keep the exclamation mark.
Of course. (10-8), BUFA wins. BUFA leading by 2. 3 points until they take this Ninals victory. What can Wins do? What can they show us to push this back? We'd love to see a universe. I'd love to see a universe.
I don't think I could take another universe. I think I would literally bust at least one blood vessel. Oh, the hammer from Martin. That's a scorcher.
Steph Rapazzo, that's how you do it.
Yeah, that is, I mean, yeah, that's a marker laid down right there. That is a marker laid down.
ULTI.TV playing in the final soon, 3 o'clock. We want to be seeing that. That's one way to do it. That's a textbook. Bringel just really committing, cutting straight. Hammer goes up. Easy, easy work from BUFA to take it to 11-8.
I like that. I always like it with deep cuts. I want them down the center of the field because it means that A, your thrower has a bit more of a target to aim at, and B, you've got so much more time and position to adjust. If you're streaking deep down a sideline, there's so little margin for error, but down the center, I mean, the hammer was bang on the money, but even if it wasn't, she would have had time to adjust and read it.
Yeah, absolutely. And super free. We mentioned Brinjel earlier, just kind of flying on the sand. That's another example. Just cutting deep, absolutely burning the defender. Nothing they can really do. Wins need to respond now.
She was super free, super free, super free, and yeah.
Super free.
Super free. I was enjoying a little bit of Rick James at the silent disco, which again, I maintain is like if AI designed an ADHD party.
I really enjoyed the silent
I
disco.
like a silent disco because when it all gets too much, I can just take the headphones off and talk to someone for a little bit and decompress.
And there's nothing more humbling than hearing everyone sing when they've got headphones on.
Oh yeah, people have no idea how bad it is. Yoink!
I'll take that.
That's Alex Nelson's disc, thank you very much. Malinowski on the far sideline. Now Klibitska. Finding the underneath option of Nelson. Nelson, oh, with a lovely little leading scuba. A delicious throw there. BUFA opening themselves some advantage.
I feel like if that throw could have a noise, it would be a really crisp, like, snap. Like, just wow.
Or like someone uncorking like a bottle of bubbly, just like, oh no, I tell you what it is. It's someone cracking open a can of cold beer.
Yeah, there's nothing better than that. I mean, probably a question for the chat. What is better, a champagne cork or a Prosecco pop? You know, or a crack of a cold beer?
Look,
I couldn't decide.
Look, I'll be honest. I'm pretty, to the surprise of literally no one, I'm aggressively upper middle class, right? But to me, everything with bubbles tastes the same and it all tastes bad.
I'm not a fan of bubbles. I think it comes with the territory of being a fancy drink. You know, you drink it in fancy occasions and therefore you're not really available to say I don't like it.
Yeah,
beer anywhere.
But no one actually likes it. That's
Yeah.
my theory.
Agreed. I did have a nice champagne cocktail once that had a little bit of like brandy in the bottle and some rock sugar. That kind of made it taste a little bit nicer, but it still wasn't like delicious.
You bougie babe.
I am a bougie babe.
I wanted to say another B word that was stronger than B, than babe, and I declined.
Thank you for being respectful.
Hell yeah. Not seeing anything downfield, but struggling and squirreling in the handler space. High stall, they get the dump off. Now they go wide and through the centre. Out into space, maybe back-centred to Mampel. Just swinging it back and forth at the moment. Moving it laterally well, but maybe could be a bit more aggressive with these yard-gaining passes. That's the way to do it. You know Hamilton's going to get on the end of it, and he does once more. The Tenerifean.
Really nice from Wins. But let's talk about BUFA. They just need to hold here to take the win after stringing together some breaks. Wins' defensive pressure has been good, but potentially not good enough to bring this game back. Do you think this is the last point we're going to see, Benji?
I mean, the smart money here is definitely on BUFA. We have seen Wins put some streaks together, get some breaks on the board, but you feel like if it's not now, then it will be soon for BUFA.
Yeah, absolutely. BUFA picking a great line, some fantastic players out there. We don't see Brinjel on, the star player. Maybe they're resting her for if there's a break.
Well, I think they also just say, hey, look, we're playing well. We've got enough players. You know, we don't have to run the same players out there every point. We back the roster.
True.
And especially with only 2 female matching players on this point, you've got fewer spots there. Venderholm goes around. We've got Klibitska charging through the centre. Gives the eyes downfield, but takes the reset instead. Now Venderholm
really nice
says
play.
no. Klibitska. Going short to Kai. Kai with the leader to the end zone. And how often do you see it that it's the last pass that would have been the score that goes awry?
Some smiles on the faces from BUFA. They're not too worried about that turnover. They do have a confident lead, not feeling too disappointed with themselves, but Wins hoping to capitalise, taking it seriously, looking formal. Timeout has been called on the field.
I'm pretty sure in the last 5 minutes, so you're not supposed to be able to call one. But everyone seems okay with it, so we'll let it slide, and we'll take a little breather here to show you some messages from CFC's wonderful sponsors. Don't go away. We'll be back on the other side. CFC is back, baby. Did you miss us? Here in the Ninals, Wins versus BUFA, and the Portuguese in a very strong position. The hooter goes, so this will be the last. Oh no, if Wins score, it wouldn't be the last point of the game. We just get a game to 13. If BUFA score, then, well, it would have been game anyway, because that would be 13 for them. So Wins need this break. It is now or never for them. Taking the underneath option. The timing's not there on any continuation, so we'll break it around instead. Very purposeful fake there. Getting some help from the sideline on the force. And again, they're struggling to make yard-gaining passes. That might be the opportunity with the defender committed out of position. They're putting it deep, and putting it deep on the money as well. It will be 12-10, game to 13.
That is a really nice throw. Again, Benji and I have spoken a few times about kind of throwing people into space and throwing them open. The receiver that caught that was not very deep. The disc just sat perfectly and gave them all the time in the world to run onto it. It was nice. Not just good, good. Game's over.
I think maybe they've decided, hey, you know what? They are within two, but I think they're happy to call it. So I think that works for us as well. BUFA will finish in 9th place. Not the final they wanted to win, obviously. They wanted to be contending for the gold medal again, but given the position they're in after the Swiss draw, 9th feels pretty good.
Absolutely, and a great game. The Ninals, not necessarily the highest stake games, but both teams giving their best out there. We've got the bronze medal coming up next, and then the final, which is going to be a real fiery showing. Yeah,
the bronze medal match is going to be no slouch either. Jogo Bonito up against Fresh Lobster. Two teams who know each other pretty well, and I'm very much looking forward to taking that all in from the sideline. So for Amelia Durbin next to me in the booth, I say next to me, in front of me in the booth, taking in the sun, and Noah Brinkworth running the ones and twos and the knobs and dials behind me. Benji Reese, we'll see you on the other side for CFC's bronze medal match.
trying to find some balance in my life. I never really put up a fight, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me as I say. Listen to me as I
Thank you. Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.